Miss Mattie Merrywinkle, Chapter 4, A Little Bird. It was only when the nice young man on breakfast television mentioned the date that Mattie Merrywinkle realised today was her birthday. She made a mental note to treat herself to an Eccles cake for her tea. As a rule, Mattie's birthdays were just a day like any other. Her friend Winnie usually sent her a card, but she'd been getting more forgetful lately, and it seemed she'd forgotten completely this year, as the postman had already been and gone, leaving nothing but a letter from Mattie's bank, telling her how they were looking after her best interests in the current crisis. Like hell they are! What a load of old tripe! Waste of paper if you ask me. Who's going to believe that? Gerald gave a sympathetic meow and rubbed against her legs as she thrust the envelope and its contents into the recycling bin. Resigned as she was to her birthday being a complete non-event, it came as a surprise, therefore, to open the door of the chemist shop and be met by a large banner bearing the greeting, "Happy birthday, Mattie!" As she entered, Mr. Barlow and Betty stopped what they were doing and started singing first, "Happy birthday," and then, "For she's a jolly good fellow." Then they started clapping. Mr. Barlow gestured towards the shop window, and Mattie could see 3 people stood outside on the pavement, clapping and cheering too. She was unexpectedly touched by the spectacle. She removed her glasses and wiped her eyes, because they were threatening to leak, on one sleeve of her jumper, and her nose, which was threatening likewise, on the other. How did you know?" she stammered. "Ah, well, a little bird told us, didn't it, Betty?" "That's right, Mr. Barlow, it were a little bird." Mattie thought he must be pulling her leg. Her date of birth was probably in the records somewhere. It had been a lovely surprise, though, and that's all that mattered. She covered her embarrassing reaction to unfamiliar emotions by busying herself, gathering up the day's prescriptions and loading them into her bicycle basket. Just before she left, Betty took down the banner and gave it to Mattie. "Here you are, love. You can put this up when you get home, so you know we'll be thinking of you." "Oh, thanks, Betty. That's a lovely thought. I'll hang it over the mantelpiece." They both came out of the shop to wave her off. "Bye, Mattie. Hope you have a lovely day." And she did, because that little bird, whoever it was, had been extremely busy. Almost every time she rang her bicycle bell to announce her arrival, a door was opened and somebody called out, "Happy birthday!" A number of people placed small gifts on their doorsteps with her name on. As quickly as she emptied the basket of pills and potions, it filled up with presents, including a jar of homemade marmalade, a tin of toffees, a plastic yogurt pot full of freshly picked strawberries, some sweet pea seedlings and a plant pot, and a margarine tub with 3 newly laid eggs in it, still with the sticky straw bits on them. The strawberries were from old Jim, the one that lived next door to Charlie, and after he'd come out on his step to wish her a happy birthday, he whistled loudly, and the 2 little girls that lived in the flat above him came out on their balcony and sang to her. They tied a big picture of a rainbow to the railings, and underneath it they had written, "We love you, Mattie." Oh dear, the tears were threatening to mist up her glasses again. She could barely manage to wave and blow a kiss to them all before clambering back on her bicycle and wobbling off down the street. She thought she'd caught a glimpse of Charlie's orange trainers through the hedge whilst the singing was going on, but there was no sign of him now. Just as well, perhaps, with her eyes and nose not being quite under control and all that. Once home, Mattie fed Gerald, then went to empty her bicycle basket. And it was then that she noticed an extra package wedged under all the others. It was wrapped in newspaper, and when she opened it up, a packet of fig rolls and a slip of folded paper fell out. She didn't need to read the note to know who had put those in her basket, but she read it anyway. "Matilda, I've just realised it's your birthday. I seem to remember you like these. Love from Charlie, with a kiss. She straightened the creases out the scrap of paper and propped it up in front of the clock on her mantelpiece. Crikey! I bet Shirley Scrimshite doesn't know he's written that. Mattie was watching the evening news when the phone rang. She bundled Gerald off her lap and went to answer it. Happy birthday, Mattie! Hello, who's this? Well now, I know it's a while since we've seen each other, but don't tell me you've forgotten the sound of my voice. You didn't think I'd forget your birthday, did you? Oh, Winnie, what a lovely surprise. I have to admit I did think it might have slipped your mind. No chance of that, Chuck. Tell me, have you had a lovely day? Oh, I have, Winnie. You won't believe how many people wish me a happy birthday or how many presents I got. How they all knew was a mystery to me. And did Mr. Barlow in the shop remember? He did. But why did you ask that? A light suddenly went on in Mattie's head. Winnie, it was you. You were the little bird that told him. Well, I couldn't let your birthday pass by unnoticed, could I? And I couldn't get out for a card or stamps or anything like that. So I ran the chemist shop and asked him if he would do a little something to mark the occasion. That bit was my idea. It was his idea to ring all the people you look after and let them know too. I'm so glad it all worked out. Tell me about the presents that you got. They chatted for a little while longer about this and that. As she replaced the receiver, Mattie gave a happy sigh. What a lovely friend. What a lovely little bird. And what a perfect end to a perfect day.